Hello everyone and welcome to episode 41 of WesteroScraft Walks with your loyal host Dutchguard. It's been a while friends, but I'm finally back, gonna be churning out some more videos for our channel, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for some exciting stuff ahead. Today we're here for episode 41, the triumphant return of Dutchguard. We're here in the Stormlands checking out Crow's Nest, the seat of House Morgan. So, we're just walking along this path here, this road through the Stormlands, just casually. We might be a peasant on the road to his family's home in Storm's End, but then we come across this, the castle of Crow's Nest, the seat of House Morgan. You can see it there, looming in the distance, reaching up towards the clouds. And, man, it's just such an imposing build, such a cool build as well. And it's just that typical Stormlands style, the really sort of gothic, dark-colored architecture with the spiky roofs and the little pikes sticking out from everywhere. I especially love the kind of wood and daub detailing you get on some of the tops of the towers here, like you can see all the way up there. I mean, obviously, Crow's Nest makes you think of things high up in the sky and lookouts, seeing across vast landscapes, and that's definitely kind of what this castle is all about. So we're just following this road, following this little stream here, which I think is really nicely terraformed and landscaped. Of course, this was all done by hand, except for sort of the larger mountainy hills and things, but this stream was all built in by hand, and all these flowers and trees and everything was all meticulously planted by the leader and the helpers of this build. I especially love that in the Stormlands we have this sort of greenish watercolor as opposed to the blue that you might find elsewhere in Westeros. It just gives it that kind of flavor, the kind of more natural greeny look of the Stormlands, which I think helps to set the region apart. You've also got these lovely sort of reeds, grass growing through the bed of the stream here. Very cool. And you can hear the trickling of the waterfall there. Very scenic, very beautiful. Now we're heading along to sort of more developed part of the road, going through Crow's Nest. Of course, Crow's Nest has a little village of its own with its standard bakers and butchers and blacksmiths and all the sort of professions you might find in your standard medieval town. I'm just going to be exploring that in a minute. But here we're coming up to sort of the, I don't know, sort of reminds me of the Bloody Gate in the Vale, but this is sort of the Crow's Nest version. You've got these high canyon walls on either side, and this is sort of the only entrance into the Morgan Vale, as I'd like to call it. You can see the standard of House Morgan there, the black on green, which is a black crow on a green field. Very cool. I think the Morgans are one of the more interesting houses of the Stormlands, though we don't really know much about them, but they're quite prominent. They're one of the Stormlords. They've been around for ages, and which is probably why they've got this massive castle, which is just awesome. I mean, look how tall it is. I'm going to try and get all the way up there and get a nice view over the Morgan Vale. That's not a canon name, I just sort of came up with that. Anyway, let's take a look at this little house here. I just absolutely love it. We've got some of the new bricks in there that we've developed over the recent months. And just sort of this wood on top of stone style, I think is just one of my favorite, and it just gives a really sort of dark, dismal, and medieval feel to this region of Westeros that you can't really find anywhere else. So let's take a look inside. This must be some sort of warehouse, maybe for the different tradesmen coming in and out of the town and the village. Oh, I think this is, oh, how cool is this? This is like a goods lift for taking supplies all the way up to the castle. Really, really cool. Shame I can't sort of climb up there myself, but you get the idea. We'll just have to go around the long way. The scenic route, as I like to call it. Right, we've got some other outbuildings here. Looks like some, could be, this looks like a tailor's, maybe? Yeah, we've got some sort of reams of cloth here. We've got a little, sort of, oh, looks like a little changing area here. Very cool, sort of a changing screen. Very nice. We've got some residences around here as well. We've got some stables, of course. Stables are very important for the travelers coming in to give their horses a bit of a rest. So that's the way up to the castle, but before we go up there, we're just going to check out the village around Crow's Nest. And again, we've just got these lovely examples of Stormland-style houses with these high-peaked roofs and sort of dark spruce plank textures and these cool dark Stormland sandstone blocks that we've developed specifically for this region. I think I can see the flag of a sept up there. Let's see if we can head up there and just sort of check it out. I love the terrain around here. It's so cool. It's a really hilly sort of terrain that gives this town really cool levels, and you can see sort of houses sticking up in different places. And we've also got some lovely trees here. It looks like some oak trees growing around. And look at that. I love the levels here. I love when towns play with levels. One of the builds that I had to help a hand in leading was Goldtown. And if you check out Goldtown, it's just built on all these different levels. And for me, that just really gives you a nice little picturesque view of the different kinds of styles of houses and the different sort of classes. So maybe someone wealthier might be living up towards the top there. Just look at this road, so steep. God, these people must have the most powerful legs in the world. So we've got one little house here on the right. Looks like a nice little family home. Beautiful little kitchen here. Just love the furnishing. You can see they've really made use of all the different sort of food blocks we've had. We have sort of the curing meat there. We've got a bread block. I've got some plates of food here as well. Let's just head upstairs. We can see some of the sleeping quarters of the residents of the Morgan Vale. And here we are. We've got a nice little sort of bunk bed here, or really sort of like a bed and then sort of a net over top of it. This must be where the married couple sleep, sort of a honeymoon bed there. So not entirely too luxurious, but it's got all the comforts of home. We've got this beautiful little lake here, another cool feature of the terraforming. You can see people sort of drying their clothes down there. Got a little fishing boat down there as well. Just absolutely beautiful scenic area. Definitely come and check this out. And that's something I always tell people is don't come and just look at the castles. You know, we've got things everywhere. You can just head off in any direction. You'll find a village, a hamlet, a holdfast, a city. You know, we've got those as well. But yeah, just come for the whole experience. I actually kind of wanted to see what was up here as well. This house looks really cool. I love the sort of jutting out wooden area here, the sort of balcony. The Rookery, it says. This must be an inn. You can sort of tell by the bed on that sign there. Yeah, it looks like this is sort of the main pub area, the drinking area, if you will, of the inn. It's got a nice little kitchen and serving area here. If we head upstairs, I'm sure we can find all sorts of different rooms and accommodation for lodgers here, travelers, weary travelers who need to rest their legs. For a few coppers, they might be able to stay here for the night in some peace and quiet. Although, actually, you know, we probably can't even guarantee peace and quiet with probably brawls going on downstairs. It looks like we've got some more of the less luxurious accommodation up in the attic here. They've really managed to use every single tiny nook and cranny in this inn, as probably would have been used in Westeros and in the medieval era. You know, they wouldn't have wasted any space. These houses are probably pretty expensive to build and maintain, so they're probably just trying to make the most of it. Right, so you can see some more of the hills of the Stormlands here. Of course, the Stormlands being a very mountainous area of Westeros. The Stormy Hills, I suppose. Mountain range doesn't really have a name, but yeah, it is a very stormy area. We've got these beautiful little terraces here for farming. Of course, because it is a mountainous area, they sort of had to manually terraform this land to sort of make it suitable for growing crops. So there's that. So let's head towards the castle now, which is obviously the jewel in the crown of the Morgan Vale. And I gotta tell you now, I haven't really done any scouting beforehand. I'm just sort of excited to get lost in this castle. And just try and find my way to the top as I usually do. But I'm really excited about the furnishing. The builder who led this build is one of my favorites, and he always does a fantastic job. And yeah, so pretty chuffed about checking out this build. And you can see it's just so imposing, like it's just massive. Like I can't even imagine seeing, you know, 1/10 of the amount of rooms in this video. So as always, come and check it out for yourself. Right, so we've got this long, curving road towards the main gate, the main barbican of Crow's Nest. Looks like we've got some gallows, or not some gallows, some cages here for some prisoners, for some no-gooders hanging out there. Actually, I forget the name of those things, those cages. If you know, just leave a comment below and just remind me. I forget what they're called. I haven't been doing this for a while, guys. You're gonna have to forgive me. Forget all the technical terms. Anyway, there we are through the main gate of Crow's Nest. Again, you can still see some of the terrain sort of poking through. We've got this beautiful crow statue here in the what looks like the main yard of Crow's Nest, and all around us here you can see these beautiful tall towers and tall outbuildings of Crow's Nest. So I'm guessing if we head through here, we'll get into the main hall of Crow's Nest. I just remember how to press buttons. There we go. Wow, very cool. Love the high arched ceilings. We've got these little mezzanines around the top of the great hall here. Got these feasting tables, and it looks like all the way up there above the hearth, which is a really cool design, we've got the Lord's Dais. So if I can find my way up there, just take these stairs around this way. Haha, I am the Lord of Crow's Nest. Oh, wait, the seat's up here. Haha, I am the Lord of Crow's Nest. Yeah, so in the events of Game of Thrones, I won't spoil too much further on, but in the events of Game of Thrones, not much happens with the Morgans. They're sort of on Renly's side at the beginning, and then they sort of switch different sides later on. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but they sort of play a small but important role. They are part of the main strength of the Stormlands, and eventually of different armies across Westeros. Right, so just exploring different parts here. Let's see if I can find my way to some stairs, and we're going to start heading up and up and up. And, right, so we've got lots of different chambers here. This looks like a bed chamber with a nice little desk, nice little stained, not stained, but paned windows here, looking out over the mountains of the Stormlands. Very scenic, very pretty. This area, of course, known for its views, and Crow's Nest, of course, taking advantage of its height. Probably get some of the best views in the Stormlands. Oh, here's a little door outside. Let's check this out. Might get a little view over the gardens here. Oh, cool. We've got those little separating walls. Yeah, looks like some gardens down there. And, very nice. Oh, looks like, yep, chopped down weirwood. You'll find all of these south of the God's Eye. There are some exceptions, but looks like here at Crow's Nest, they've killed off their weirwood and probably favor the 7, so there's probably a little sept somewhere in here. Oh my god, these towers are massive! Look at that little connecting bridge. Oh, there's a couple of them. That is great. That is just so cool, for connecting these different towers and different levels. Oh my god, these towers are huge. Right, which tower do we want to tackle? That one or that one? Which one looks taller? I always go with the taller one. You know what? That one looks like it's more fun to explore, so we're going to go with that one. And we're going to go just back into this tower here. I'm going to try and find some stairs. Oh, this looks like the top of the portcullis for a gate down here. I'm kind of cool. Oh, we've got some murder holes here as well. Very cool. So we've definitely taken great care in making sure we've got all the defenses lined up. Oh, here's some stairs down. Right, so here's the bottom of that portcullis. Very, very cool. And here we are in the bottom of that huge tower. Right, down here we've got, looks like the storehouse. I bet you the lift that we saw earlier reaches up to here. Is this it? Oh no, this just comes from a lower level. But yeah, of course we've got all kinds of lifts in here for making the carrying of goods easier and more straightforward for the peasants and the servants of Crow's Nest. Looks like we've got a little area here, preparation area, and I bet as we head up and up through this keep, we'll start to see, better furnishing and better quarters. Oh, damn, that looks like some kind of crazy throne for House Morgan. The Lord of Morgan. This must be his sort of audience chamber for if knights of the Stormlands are coming to seek audience with the Lord Morgan of Crow's Nest. Beautiful little balcony out here. You can see again some of the landscape and those beautiful pine trees, which of course have all been designed by hand and then planted using World Edit, which is still a very painstaking process, I'll have you know. World Edit is a shortcut, but sometimes the shortcuts take long as well. So there we go. Like I said, we've got some more nice furnishing here. We've got some paintings up here. Looks like we've got some potted plants. Through here we've got a nice little study, looks like. This could even be like sort of an apprentice's chamber, sort of for a maester. I see some books there. Of course, not many people that can read around these parts, so it'll be very sparse with the bookshelves. So we've got some more here. So it looks like this is sort of the learned section of the castle. Beautiful little bedchamber here. We've got some arrow slits here. Probably good for if there's a noble person sleeping in this room. Don't want them to get shot through a window, so it's good to have those defenses on those extra special rooms. Right, we've got some more stairs here. We've got some helmets lying around. There's probably an armor around here. Soldiers' barracks, all that good stuff. Again, I think I'm already running over time, but there's so much to see and explore in Crow's Nest, so again, I encourage you to do that. We've got some beautiful jars here, getting some windows looking out across the Stormlands. We've got a suit of armor here, of course, more decorative details of Crow's Nest. God, oh wait, I think I found a Septon's chamber. We've got a flag for the Faith of the Seven, and I think we'll find a little bed here, as well as a bath with some not so pleasant looking water, but again, that's sort of the price you have to pay for being in the Stormlands. Little portrait of the father up there. Very cool. There must be a sept nearby, then somewhere, sort of little private sept for families of Crow's Nest. I think we're just going over one of those cool bridges I saw before into a different tower, but I'm not sure if I really want to do that. Oh, nice little balcony here. Again, you can see down over the court and the main yard of this castle here. Very, very cool. And there's the town out below where we saw earlier. But we're not at the top yet. We're still got ages to go. Oh, it looks like a little planning room of some kind. Some storage. Oh, of course, we've got privy here. Excellent. Chamber pots galore. You can almost smell the poo. Smell the royal poo from here. Well, not royal, noble poo, I should say. Right, nice little seating area, beautiful little mirror here. It looks like the furnishings still are becoming more and more fancy. Looks like in here we've got sort of a private feasting area, probably for the family of the Morgans. Probably got a kitchen next door. Yep, there it is, where the finest chefs in the Stormlands come to prepare feast for the lords of the Morgan Vale. And this must be sort of the quarters for those chefs. Not too glamorous, but hey, you know what? You're away from danger. You probably eat really well, so, you know, they shouldn't complain. Right, onwards and upwards. This looks like a strategy room. Looks like maybe a big map or some sort of cloth spread out over this table here and a big map of Westeros and Essos. You know, I'm not really sure they would have maps like that, but there you go. Really a cool detail nonetheless. Right, I'm still looking for stairs. I'm finding all these interesting things. Like, here's another really cool kind of bedchamber and a little dressing area. Ah! No, I want this door. Balcony through here. And again... Oh, there's the sept all the way down there! Well, I'm not jumping, but there you get the idea. It's down there. Right, back through. Looking for stairs. You know, I said before, the guy who builds these builds is fantastic, but damn, he makes the layout so confusing. Instead of one stair going all the way up, it looks like we're up in the top here. You can see some of the rafters poking through the ceiling. And we've got some more chambers here. You know, I do sometimes am critical of some of the castles we build in the server. There just aren't enough chambers for probably the amount of, you know, servants and the amount of family that is living in these castles. But this is an exception. You know, there's definitely enough, a realistic amount of beds for a realistic amount of people for serving the Morgans here. Looks like we've got a nice noble bedchamber here, and more balconies. Jeez, it just never ends. Oh, look, it looks like we're close to the roof here. Another little door. Maybe this is Maester's bedchamber? I don't know. We've got lots of books. Lots and lots of books. It sounds promising. Got some more stairs going up, and up, and up, and up, and up. And, geez, we're still going up. And we've got more balconies out here. You know, this roof is really steep. That must be why we just keep going up. And you can see that road all the way down there. That's the road we traveled into town before. And, yeah, like I said, it's just an amazing view. That looks like a noble bed right there. You've got the sort of tapestry, the canvas stretching over the bed, the colors of House Morgan. You know, that's always a sure sign that you're in the presence of nobility. Right. I know there's more stairs. Yes, more stairs. This castle wins for the most stairs. Absolutely. And I think we found the Maesters. Oh, no, you know what? This might be actually the Lord Solar. And I'm going to say that because there's a nice big comfy-looking chair with a bit of parchment there and a pen and an ink pot and some books here. And, you know, a good place for writing letters to his fellow Stormlords. And we've actually got a hatch out to the top of the roof here. And I think we've definitely reached the top of Crow's Nest. We are at the Crow's Nest of Crow's Nest. And so that's where I'm going to leave you guys today. I hope it's been a fun episode. I'm going to try and make up for all the time we've lost. It was a busy holiday season for me, but I'm finally back. I'm really happy to be making these videos again. So guys, be sure to support me in my future endeavors. Subscribe, stay tuned for more episodes of WesteroScraft Walks, and I will see you next time for episode 42. Thanks for watching.